Game number 2 underway. Quick breaks here at the promotionals. Gotta love it, gotta love it. We'll get all the action in as soon as we can, and hopefully you guys have gotten whatever you needed to supply yourself for yet another match of action. Pretty similar playing to last time around, a little more south, and last one was all the way up over Georgia Bowl, but shouldn't be any big issues this time around for the circlers. And for those of you guys who might be sitting out there aspiring to become a pro or a competitive PUBG player, take a look at some of these teams. Find yourself one team. Maybe if you like looting Pachinki, look at the team that loots Pachinki. If you like looting somewhere else, look at the team that likes to loot whatever spot that you like to loot. And then take a look at what they do. And when they see the first circle pop, when do they rotate? How do they rotate? And try and figure out, would you do the same as them? Or are you like, oh my god, that's the smartest thing, I'm gonna do that from now on? Or are you thinking, well, that's weird, I'm not gonna do that? And then try to explain to yourself why, or just try and put some thought into it. Put your thoughts into word. Not necessarily that you have to share it with anyone, but just try and figure out how and why you're doing certain things in a specific way. You can see Shish right now from Kebabs is all the way down southwest, in between the entirety of huge potential. Now he's actually turning around, probably realizing, well, this is not really what I wanted to do. But then again, I mean, they have had they have had huge potential on military a few times. This time around, they aren't, but the circle goes down there, so that's interesting. This is going to be really interesting. The only game, I believe, we have not had a single military team. I believe there was one of them yesterday as well, but we don't have a military team, and all of a sudden, the circle goes down south. That's an interesting turn of events. And something that you don't see happen all that often, but always funny when it does nonetheless. Always entertaining. And appeal with the vehicle now is probably, honestly, with them looting down south anyway, swapping over to the bike, might just want to go down there immediately. I mean, they had a somewhat rough previous game. Just cross. They were the ones that flew down here. They saw that nobody went military. They were the team that were down there last time around. And just go straight on down there. That might actually just be the smartest thing you could possibly do at this point. See Denethor and his teammate, they're going down there now too. Many getting looted up on the east side. They won't have any issues. They'll just be able to get them boats and rotate on over if that's what they want, I assume. And two guys from Airwaves, they need some good games here today to set them up for a top match tomorrow if they want to get into the top 8, of course. They had a somewhat decent showing in Georgia Bowl last game, but it was a tough, of course, in the end when everything just came rolling down towards them and all these teams came swarming in. For knockout games or knockout gaming, they need to well, not only get some good matches, but also get some good circles. Of course, this being a military one, it's going to be tricky. How in the hell do you rotate it? Maybe you guys can ask yourself the same question. If you're sitting in Georgia Bowl, how the hell do you rotate down to military? I think what we're seeing with the plane right here is probably the smarter call. Go down the west coast. If you know there's nobody looting out here, fly on down the west coast, because you've been in the plane for so long, right? You saw the plane from Mills Power all the way up to Georgia Bowl. You see, okay, sure, we have Fenerbahce down there. But try and see if you can get down there, get yourself a boat, and then rotate over to the island. That would probably be the smarter thing to do. Don't start contesting the bridges. Don't start doing these things. Just see if you can safely get on over to the other side. And what I can tell you as well is you see these vehicles. For those of you guys who don't know, it's like, oh my god, how do you get flames on your Dacia? These vehicles are what you get for the hard-spawned vehicles. The hard-spawned vehicles are the ones that there isn't the chance that they drop, or like they spawn in a certain area. They're there no matter what. You only get them in the esports servers. But the same thing goes for the boats. The boats are only in certain areas, which is which can make things difficult, because if everyone knows exactly where all the boats are, then also everyone knows how and where to sort of anticipate and maybe set up ambushes and what to go for. So it's a little different when you don't know exactly where the boats are, but there's a chance there's a boat here, there's a chance there's a boat there. And this, it's a little different when everyone knows exactly where all these boat spawns. They always see, as we talked about just before, huge potential. They made their way on over. That's a great spot at M249 to it as well. Tony trying to do some damage early, so it seems to me like Art of War, they've moved out of Pachinki early on to say, you know what, let's go down towards the military island early. We actually did see one of the players from from Out of War jump into the boat just before as well. And they had some issues there yesterday. We had that one circle that jumped down there in circle 2 that nobody was really anticipating. Happened anyway, and it kind of screwed over a lot of these players. Out of War was one of them. So one of those teams that got kind of penalized by it. It was actually the exact same 2 teams fighting. Out of War and Phoenix were fighting over boat spawns down there. Personal Courage, they've taken the observatory, and this is a good spot to sit in. Ooh, Swarm lining up with a chance to get some kills, smoking the vehicle, but not enough to get the kill off. That could have been a good double coming in for them, but unfortunately not quite the case. MFS and Sheesh, they're getting looted up in the area down here. Maybe they can catch some of the Phoenix players off guard. Shots connected, shots shot in the right direction, but not a whole lot coming in. Saki though, how did you manage to run over your teammate? I'm not sure, but that happened somewhere else. Jap gets taken down as well. So a lot of damage done. You still have the bike, Hoge with the chance to get away, but you've kind of locked yourself up down on the locked yourself up on the light tower up here, because I mean obviously they didn't want to just full send it over. It's pretty tricky, but now at least they know there's no one holding the bridge on their side other than just 2 players from Kebabs, and they can give the info to Bullen and Soggy. Or just make the drive on over. Maybe that's what they want to do early on here. Airwaves, as we talked about before, them looting and Mills of Power. Pretty straightforward rotation paths coming in from them. Houston making its way up towards the hilltop as well. Wants to get into a better spot. In Knockout Gaming, we see they have started making their rotation out of George Paul. To be expected. Not sure where they're planning on going. But, well, I mean, it seems like they're going for boats. But Fenerbahce, they're down here already. And this is actually kind of interesting. We saw this exact thing from Fenerbahce when they were taking too much time getting into those boats. We saw it in the Contenders League 3D Max. They set up an ambush. They waited for them to get in it, and it came to cost them so dearly. They're all in the blue now, and it's costing them so much. And this is once again the exact same scenario. Fenerbahce taking too much time getting into those boats, not being cautious of teams potentially looking at them from behind, and it has just cost them a player, potentially 2. Somehow, if Shaxi can get out of this one alive, that would be impressive, but I do not see it happening. Call me God, what are you doing? What are you doing? 2 players rolling up, one gets knocked immediately. What is going on, guys? What? What? Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that was not the smartest play. I mean, the idea was good enough, but not executed as well as they would have wanted it to be. This is probably what they should have done to begin with, though. This right here. That, you know what? That is what they should have done to begin with. Animal Slayer, you clearly came up with the smarter decision, because these guys didn't. And I'm really not the kind of guy that likes to sort of discredit people for anything. I don't think it's my job to tell people what's right and what's wrong. But this clearly just did not really work out the way that they intended it to. Slayer of Animals taken down as well. So that's gonna be them losing 3 players before the first circle is even connected. That is a very tough start for Knockout Gaming. They already sit themselves rather far down the list, and this is not the kind of start that they would have wanted, that's for sure. That nade should have been thrown probably before they went up, because they knew where he was. They knew he was down by those vehicles, and if they had the nades available, just throw them. I mean, it's a pretty safe play to throw those grenades down. So unfortunately for them, didn't really work. And we could see, I mean, Ghost Legion and Last Crew, they're fighting 8 kilometers outside of the circle, and it's not really benefiting any of them. We are getting to the circles now where it might not be that much damage, but the further away you are from the circle, the more damage they start doing. So it actually starts taking up quite a bit. It's the difference. That first aid, those 2 first aids, that's going to be the big difference maker in the end here, whether you actually get inside the circle or not when it all comes down to it. You can see Moke, he's like, can I please just get away from here? I don't want to fight you guys. But Ghost Legion, they're, as I talked about earlier, they're setting themselves up in positions where they can take out, or like they take some of these fights early on, and they've had success with it so far. Moke, the only guy alive now for his team. Sure, Ghost Legion lost a player, but well, I mean, they're on the hunt. They're not giving up, but seems like they might just want to prioritize getting down inside the circle, because there is not a whole lot of the main island remaining here. Moke hopefully has a vehicle somewhere down here, or he could be looking at a grim death. Avoki from Apex has this bike. Just want to make sure that it's safe to cross, and indeed it seems to be. So Smart, never ever, no matter how late in the game it is, never ever take for granted that there's no one on the other side of the bridge, because I'm telling you right now, 9 out of 10 times there is there are people waiting. Avoki was the tester to go up over to see if there was anything safe on the other side, and his team comes to follow afterwards. Now we have Venconas. They've made it over to the military island, but they're on the wrong side of it. They have to make the run on over. Fenerbahce, they're in their boat now as well. Lost 2 players. Well, I mean, they did get 2 points for it. So, that was pretty fortunate. And I can tell you right now, guys, I'm not in charge of what's being observed, so I cannot show you the map more if that's what you're asking. I would like to, but it's not my it's not something I can control. EFSA trying to go down south and get himself a position by the beach. Wants to wait for his teammates to come on over. Ghost Legion, they have a buggy, and I'm not sure why YMD is running, but I mean, if they have a buggy, they just get down there. They have far to go still. They need to play it smart. They need to get the hell down in the southern direction, because they need to get over to the military island. Fortunately, as we could see, there wasn't really anyone holding the bridge, and at this point, I wouldn't assume that anyone is expecting teams still to be making it over. Wizards, they're coming in late though, and you see Knockout Gaming, the last remaining player, he's going up now as well. Ooh, do they hear him though? Do they hear him coming in from behind? That would be awful. That would be awful. He's playing it safe. He's playing it slow as well. Cheese does go down in the open, trying to hold a spot for his teammates, and now the swimming is coming in there as well. Draco, they were off on a rough eastern rotation. They got shot at quite a bit, and they have to rotate far out in the blue as well. Animal Slayer, last remaining player for his team, trying to get over to the other side. We've already lost 11 players really early on in the game. Test trying to spray on through the leaves, but no shots connected there. Just testing how fast you can fire that weapon. Oh, Misa here's the vehicle. Jumps out. You can see him on the map on the left side of the screen. He jumps out of it now there too. Doesn't start shooting early on. Animal. There, now the shots are being fired. Alpha getting run over by his teammate. That's not something you want to have happen when you're miles out in the blue. Alpha gets finished off too, actually. Moke still on his feet, running forward. Golby taken down by Tony now as well. This could be the break that Art of War needs. Could be what they need to get into the top. Ghost Legion actually eliminated. Unfortunate for them. They had a good thing going in the previous game, but this time around taken down really early on. So despite the fact that they got some kills on towards last crew, it did come to bite them in the end of things. Waves. This is the issue, right? You want to hold off all these rotations. It's really tricky to really do anything from these spots, but they're doing the best that they can to hold them off, and they actually have success in doing so as well. EFSA taken down. So Kebabs eliminated in 15th place, and 2 teams eliminated already. It's not something you see so often, but of course with these military circles, it's not exactly making things any easier. Not exactly making things any easier. Moke, he's still running. He has extremely far to go. Extremely far to go. But he's doing everything he can to get down there. It's not gonna be easy, but there's a chance. There's always a chance. Draco there is still on the other side with one of the players who sold him in the water just before, and we're hitting the point at which if you're gonna swim, well, I mean, you might just want to get out there now, because with phase V already closing in, you cannot get those heals running in the water. So jumping in could be the death of you. Mekonas, they're kind of trapped in the silos. Tagatori getting rest up on by his teammates. Swamp sitting up here. They won the previous game, and you can see Broken is shooting down towards the smokes now as well. Talk getting some shots fired in his direction. Not exactly an easy place to play from. They just have those trees for cover, but you know, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to sort of sit in between all those trees and get yourself anything to play from. Now they're trying to make the run back up again. They want to keep them off. I mean, they have to get inside the circle too. Manny needs to go up. Mans needs to get inside the circle too. And they cannot just stick around here for too much longer. I don't think they have their vehicles around. As I say that though, there seems like there's a bike laying around on the ground there. And Suma's actually taking it to try and go back towards his teammates. But it's not really going to be easy, because should this circle shift down inside the military base itself, it's going to be a hard drive forward. Teams are already starting to get into position down and inside the base. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe, just maybe, these guys can be able to pull something off from the far south. Circle does go somewhat towards military. Contains the northern side of the island too. And for Art of War, I mean, this is the first time that I've seen them with 4 guys alive on military. So that could be the... as I said before, that could be the start to day 2 that they wanted. They got a rough game 1, but hopefully they can make up for it here. Misa down early on. Wist sitting in first place. Don't want to lose a player this early. So hopefully Res is going to be coming in. And, well, for Art of War, there's a chance. There's a chance that they could get things working for them here. Mocha, you see already the damage coming in. 3 ticks per second. It's a lot of damage to be taken. It means first aid pop, first aid pop, first aid pop. You gotta continuously pop those off, and hopefully he has enough to work with. Airwaves though, making the run on over. They got the knock on Misa and they want to get the kill off of it, but the only 2 guys. Man's now coming in late. And he's taking a lot of fire while doing so. Molotov thrown downstairs. T-Bone trying to buy his teammates some more time. Misa running around upstairs trying to hold the angle on the staircase. There's only one place you can get up here, and Moke spends so much time getting over, but Odin, just like you, was late to the party, and that is going to be last crew eliminated, unfortunately for the guys. Not a whole lot more to it, and now the push is coming in for Wizards. They don't want to lose anyone off of this. They want to hold the ankle. They want to be able to continue forward with 4 guys alive, and they have pushed the entire team over. Wizards get down O'Connell. Tagatori down in return, so trading 1 for 1, I assume, goes down 2. So now all of a sudden it's just 1 player remaining outside the building. Not gonna be easy for Airwaves, but unfortunate for Wizards, they lost to O'Connell in the skirmish there. But there's still, I mean, for Manny and Mance on the other side, still them to be dealt with. Question is gonna be though whether they want to engage in this or not. It seems like they're making the runoff. They have no intentions of fighting this fight whatsoever. Just make the runner down into safety and get into a better spot for the fights to come. Hannibro getting himself the knock and the finish onto Havoki. So Apex starting to engage in fights here. Riddle coming up. They want to contest the spot. They had to cross the road and they get themselves down the first player. But there, of course, still more to be fought. Ooh, and look at the team trying to come up here. We got the team pushing up on a third party. This Fenerbahce taken down once more. Callum Dog going down in 13th place. Not the game that they would have wanted, but well, that's what happens when you're uncautious, when you enter those boats. Faye taken down as well. This is 3 teams fighting pretty much on top of each other. Really, really hectic. Tony goes down too. So all these 3 teams shooting at one another. It's a 3-way fight, and every single team right now has gotten people knocked at least at one point or another. Mennox trying to make the run on off. It's gonna be so difficult. Him and Faye, they're all by themselves. They lost a player just before, and now the push is continuously coming forward. Faye gone down as well. Swarm and Personal Courage, they're fighting off in the distance too, but you can only watch so many fights at a given time. Odin down to the blue. He's not gonna get rest. And all of a sudden, look at this. I mean, it's just fights happening all over the place. It's such a tricky area to really maneuver in. It's so open. You only have those simple trees for cover. And as we see right here with nades in hand, it just becomes a hellhole for anyone to fight him. Merit trying to make the run down. Ooh, forced down into the open, spotted out by Hickey now as well. He has a bit of a valley to run on over to cross the road, but this ain't gonna be easy. Hickey actually taken down by Riddle now, fortunately enough for Merit. That could be the push for him, like the chance that he gets to push it over. And as you can see, Swarm, they're pretty much contained up by the wall there as well. So question for Riddle is going to be whether they want to continuously hold them off up there, or if they want to go down and try and see if they can make the maneuver, like maybe run on into the circle themselves. Seems like they've actually decided to run around the side. Huge potential. They came down to military early. PEL long range taps coming in for him with the Mini 14, but not enough to get down the finish off, at least not right off the bat. Could be a chance coming in later. They might have seen Draco there on the backside. John LeBoon, last remaining teammate, trying to make the run on up. Maybe did he see them? Yeah, seems like he has a Seems like he has the knowledge that somebody is coming from behind. John is taking a lot of damage. Animal Slayer's all by himself. He somehow made it down to military, but there's still a long way to go to get into that top 8 spot to get yourself some placement points. Andy with the SLR gets himself a knock. This is kind of the start that we wanted for out of 4. They had a rough day yesterday, and now they're making it back. PEL gets himself the finish off. 1 broken, goes down 2, so that's Swarm eliminated. PEL does go down immediately after, though, so got damage done towards 1, but T-Toxic is able to take him down in return. Yordale now once again. We see Apex and Riddle fighting against one another. Vinconas, they've just been sitting in the middle here in the silos for such a long time, chilling, not really been forced to do anything, and they're just well, they're just looking around, holding off anyone potentially pushing out of the military island or military base. I mean, Riddle, Nate's thrown, Tony. Knock down Memo. That's a nice off-angle position there. Could potentially do some damage. Trico pushing around the side. Memo does get himself the first knock and the finish up on towards Clip as well. Simpson is on the side. They know he's over there. Andy trying to make the run back, and Memo trying to get healed up. Needs to somehow hold the angle. Fortunately, the circle is kind of helping out, forcing Simpson to move out of that position. Siron goes down. Johnny Woo taken down in return. Tony gets finished off. Toxic down in the blue there as well. So I believe they only have 1 player remaining, but still 3 guys up on their feet for Out of War against 2 potentially for Riddle. Could be a good fight coming in from them. Draco Unity taken down in the end. They got 2nd place in the last game, but huge potential there to stop them. So not a whole lot more to it. And now once again, Riddle and Apex fighting. Riddle just cannot seem to catch a break. Every time they try to rotate around and get into a new spot where they don't have to fight teams, they just run into the new fight immediately after. Denethor gets himself the finish off, secures himself a point for the team. Important points too. They were sitting in 4th place before, but now they're down in 7th. So every single point you can get off of this could be a point well received. And somehow Knockout Gaming, I mean, they're still in this despite the fact that they lost 2 players under what some might argue as to be questionable circumstances. They actually are still in the mix here. Out of War now getting the circle up towards them. That's pretty fortunate. Simpson should not have stood up there. Memo had full control and full knowledge of your position, and it took you down immediately. And look at this Animal Slayer. 1 more position, 1 more placement, and he will somehow have managed to get himself placement points. That would be pretty impressive, not gonna lie. If he can get placement points in this game, considering how rough of a match they had, that'd be rather impressive. But look at this. He sees Airwaves push over. That might be him then saying, oh, now I have a clean push out. But as you can see, Wizards were moving in as well. Bro knocks up BenQ5, but Andy is there to take the shot in return. And that's going to be Riddle out in 8th. So as you can see, Animal Slayer taking his team into placement points. Somehow, again, not sure exactly how that happened, but it did happen in the end. Smoke's thrown down towards BenQ5, trying to see if they can get the rest on him, but nades are coming in towards them. Andy has got to watch out. Ben has got to crawl either back towards his teammates. I think it's the first knock for him, so he might just be able to make the sort of the run on off. Denethor tries to get a spot from the side. That's going to be a nade right on the teeth, and that should be BenQ taken down. Not a whole lot more to it. And 10 kills already for huge potential. They had such a rough game last game. They pretty much all died before the first circle popped. First circle connected, but this time around, look at the damage coming in, and they want to regain themselves that top 5 spot. That's for sure. PEL taking down Memo. Andy under tons of fire now as well, down to just 1 HP. Has to start running because he's the last remaining player on his team, and there are still so many more placement points for him to be able to accumulate. Can he get saved? Can he somehow find some sort of cover on the backside? This would be so amazing for him, because there's still teams fighting, trying to make their way out from military. Wizards, they're not done yet. They lose Miss It, but they take down 2 players from Airwaves. That's going to be them down and out. Bullen now fighting off Copman. That's going to be Vinconas engaging in the fight every single minute. Andy can stay alive. Could be a potential placement, but not gonna happen. Moon X Scott says, nope, you're going down, buddy. This is our island, and we're taking you down with us. Denethor securing the kill there. At least one of them. 12 kills on the team so far. Impressive, considering the fact that there are only 3 guys, I believe, connecting to this match. So pretty damn impressive, considering that there are only 3 guys connected, that they actually managed to pull off such a good performance. Vinconas now being spotted out, and PEL trying to do some damage, but he was the flanker to be flanked by Amaruns. Great push up from him. Not prepared for that one at all. And you can look on the other side. Moon was going down either to loot Andy or trying to hold the other side. And they were not anticipating or prepared for the push from Venconas to come up over the top. Corp has gone down. So there's just 3 players remaining. It's a 3v2 in the favor of Venconas, but Moon makes a draw on, like, just runs away. There's no reason for him to try and do anything. Denethor gets finished off. Now he's all by himself. Oh, T-Bone, you have to watch out. Don't want to fall down that hill. Do not want to fall down that hill. So 4 teams remaining. We have Wizards, 2 players on the side. Full 4-man up for Phoenix now making the push up the hill. 2 guys down immediately though. The Finnish team's having a lot of issues. And they're taking casualties right off the bat. Saki trying to throw the nade, gets caught off guard. Amaru is taking him down as well. So all of a sudden, what was a 4-man push on up is now just 1 guy alive in Bulin. They were trying to make the perfect time third party and just got completely annihilated as they came pushing up. 7 players alive. And we're in circle 6, closing into circle 7. That is something you do not see very often. Everyone was fighting to get down to Military Island. Everyone was fighting to get out of Military Base. And all of a sudden, we have just 7 players remaining. And I think everyone is going to be playing it rather safe here. You can see Venconas, they have the high ground position. They're just going to be chilling. Wizards sitting in the middle. They're trying to hold anyone off. They know they have Venconas on the edge. They could potentially push him off. But how the hell are they gonna do that with just 2 players alive? They need to continuously apply pressure. You can see Arrows, he's running around the backside as well, wants to make sure that nobody is coming from the high ground position. This is where they come from, and they cannot allow for anyone to push in from behind. 12 kills for Moon and huge potential. Just 3 players in the game. Very impressive, but now he's been spotted out. Miyamori spotting him out there, and you can see he's making the run on farther away. Tries to stay safe. He has a bit of a dip to run into. Eros might just be rotating up to take him down. Every single placement matters. Bulin, solo player. Moon, solo player. Up against a duo and a 3-man team in Wizards and Venconas. You see them on the left side of your screen there. And of course, these guys, what they're playing for, should you guys not know, everybody here is trying to get into the top 8. Top 8 will grant them a spot in phase 2, or phase 2 in stage 2 of the promotionals. So that's kind of the cutoff line. It's not necessarily about getting first place. It's just about getting into the top 8. Of course, you want to win because that's bragging rights and all. But you just have to get into the top 8 spots out of the 16 here. The thing being, of course, that if you don't get into the top 8, then you're done for. Then you can try all over again in Open League and see where that gets you. Moon. He has a bush. He's proning. He's waiting. Will he be able to hide it out here, though? Seems like Ambrose is swapping over to the Mini 14. You see him on the left side of your screen there. He's looking around. He knows he ran somewhere in this direction, and they're running together. I like to see it. They're running together. They're pushing together, trying to see if they can spot him out. There's a bush there, Miramore says. Can he see some feet? Nope. He cannot see any feet right now. No feet seen. Are they actually falling back from this? Seems like they are. They're like, you know what, guys? We've checked this entire side now. There's no one here. But he's prone, and there you see him on the bottom right side of your screen, and Emerald's screen with the X-ray there as well. But it is hard to see. It is hard to see him. He even has a bright red weapon, but not gonna give away his position nonetheless. And this actually forces Venconas to push back now. That could be, honestly, with Moon not being spotted just there, that could be him going from 4th to 2nd place instead. Bulin. Super safe. Very slow. That's a nade. Down to 1 HP. Takes him out as well. T-Bone. Gets himself 1 more kill added to the list. And only 3 teams remaining now. Again, everything is so slow simply because... well... there were so many people killed before. Ooh, Arrows, he sold them. I don't think Observer 7 has any audio, but that's fine. Wizards, yep, Arrows got spotted. He sold them, but he was taking too long time to start shooting, unfortunately. T-Bone, he's far down on the side. 6 kills so far for Vanconas. They had 1 win in Contenders League. And of course they want to get some wins here so they can get themselves back with a chance to deliver in phase 2. T-Bone easily been spotted out, but it's going to be up to Moon. What can he do to engage in this? How can he third party? Of course, with teams still shooting, he knows there's more than one team remaining, meaning that he is not guaranteed a second place yet. He wants them to take out T-Bone before he starts doing anything. You can see he's waiting. He's just holding the angle. He wants that fight to go over, but not going to happen. Moon spots him out. That's going to be T-Bone securing himself at least a second place. Gets himself down the first kill. Spots out number 2, but not going to be enough. Test gets the kill. That's going to be Vancouver.